Hey Sagittarius, Neptune enters your fifth house of Aries at the end of Jan 2026. Neptune has been in your fourth house of Pisces since past 13-14 years, and it's gonna be in your fifth house from now on for the next 12 years. This is a major shift. There could be a lot of sensitivity, there could be a lot of confusion regarding your family dynamic before. All that will be gone, and you will see your family for what they are. There is no uh, cloud, there are no clouds, there are no masks, no deception anymore from the end of Jan 2026 regarding your family or regarding your property or anything to do with your home. Now, Neptune in the fifth house, you could be dating glamorous people or artistic people. You could be sensitive towards your children's needs, and they could be sensitive towards you. You could indulge in creative hobbies while Neptune is in the fifth house. Saturn has entered your fourth house around March 2023, and it's gonna move into your fifth house, Aries, around Valentine's Day 2026. So, Saturn has been in your fourth house, creating all kinds of issues with your family, your home life, your mom, the place of residence, or any property you're selling, or any property you're building or acquiring. These have been kind of a work of labor for you while Saturn has been here for the past 3 years. Saturn will be in your fifth house from Valentine's Day 2026, which is around mid Feb 2026, until mid April 2028, which is about 2 years, 2 months. Now Saturn will move into your fifth house, which is house of children. Saturn in the fifth can create blockages in terms of fifth house topics such as having children, having fun, or there is more responsibility that you have to take regarding your children or regarding your hobbies. You're probably starting any passion project and you're taking it very seriously. Your dating life also has a lot of seriousness. So, your dating life can have blockages, you could have breakups. Having a child or getting pregnant can be difficult while Saturn is in the fifth, or taking a responsibility of your first child or children in general can become difficult. You could be having issues or fights or disagreements a lot more with your children, especially your first child, while Saturn is in the fifth. Saturn can also stabilize the topics of fifth house, which is again dating, children, your love life, your hobbies, your passion projects, any event. As long as Saturn is in the fifth house, you're taking the topics of children, your dating life, your hobbies, uh, your parties a lot more seriously. Saturn can give pregnancy, but it can make the whole process pretty hard. Like, it might not be easy for you to get pregnant as long as Saturn is in the fifth. Also, in case if you do it, you do have a baby while Saturn is in the fifth, raising the baby becomes very difficult, or you might have to pay way more attention and way more care than otherwise. Now, Saturn goes retrograde at the end of July until the second week of December in Aries, which is your fifth house. Things could be slowing down way more regarding the topics of the fifth house, or there's a lot more stubbornness and more blockages. Saturn retrograde can delay or make your kids a bit more stubborn. Your dating life is also a lot more slower while Saturn is retrograde. Uranus enters your seventh house, Gemini, at the end of April, last week of April 2026, and it's gonna stay there for the next 8 years. Uranus in the seventh can cause sudden or shocking events in terms of relationships. Whenever Uranus gets closer to your descendant point, there are chances of breakups, or there could be chances of separation, or detachment around that time. So just be careful of that. Otherwise, Uranus is great for long distance relationships. Uranus is great for on and off relationships. Uranus does create sudden issues in relationships. Jupiter enters your ninth house, Leo, at the end of June. The first half of 2026, Jupiter will stay in your eighth house, and the second half it enters your ninth house, and it's gonna stay there until the end of June 2027. Jupiter in your eighth house is also one of your financial houses, so take full advantage of it. If you want to make any investments, this is a great time. You could be getting inheritance, or your spouse's income must have increased. You have good relationships with your in-laws while Jupiter is in Cancer in your eighth. Also, there's a chance you could get pregnant while Jupiter is in your eighth until June end. Yeah, take advantage of that. Jupiter in your one of the finance houses, your business is doing well until the end of June too. Now, um, planet of luck at the end of June will switch to the ninth house, which is also one of the luck houses. Jupiter in the ninth house creates ease when it comes to academics. Whatever training, whatever you want to learn to improve your career gets a lot easier. Your relationship with your professors or your gurus gets a lot better. Religion or faith is much stronger. You could be traveling a lot more while Jupiter is in your ninth. You have better luck in terms of your court cases while Jupiter is in your ninth house in Leo. Jupiter already started retrograde in Cancer, and it stays retrograde until the second week of March 2026. So things could slow down, or you might have to do some reevaluating or redoing stuff regarding your eighth house topics of inheritance, taxes, investments, fertility, reproductive system, excretory system, in laws, research, surgery. Jupiter goes retrograde in mid December 2026, and it stays retrograde until mid April 2027 in the house of Leo, which is your ninth house. So you are redoing or reevaluating stuff regarding your academics or travel or legal stuff, or there could be delays regarding these topics while Jupiter is retrograde. North Node for the first half of 2026 will continue to stay in your fourth house in Pisces. So there could be major changes in terms of your property. You're probably buying some property, selling property, shifting your home, changes in terms of your family, your changes regarding your mom or your relationship with your family and your mom. All this can happen. North Node shifts into Aquarius, which is your third house, at the end of July 2026, and it stays there until the end of March 2028. North Node in third house can make changes in terms of your relationship with your cousins, your younger siblings, your neighbors. You could be changing your neighborhood. You're suddenly way more involved in your immediate community, especially your neighbors or your relatives, your aunts, your uncles, or your cousins can be more involved. You might be relying more or reconnecting more with your younger siblings, especially, or siblings in general. You could also probably be selling old vehicles, or maybe you're buying new vehicles, or you could be getting license, or you could be learning to drive, and then you'll get a license while North Node is in your third house. South Node in ninth can also give you long distance travel, long distance trips. You're way more spiritual rather than religious around this time. There could be changes in terms of religion or your faith, your academics, your legal stuff, anything regarding your training, changes in terms of your professors, your teachers. There's a lot more spirituality mixed with these topics with South Node in your ninth. The first half of the year, the nodal axis of your fourth house and your 10th house are a lot more potent whenever eclipses happen, and then it will shift to your third and ninth. the second half of the year. The first eclipse of the year happens around 17th or 18th of Feb. This is a new moon in Aquarius. This is partial solar eclipse, so it's not as potent. There could be major changes regarding your neighborhood, one of your neighbors, your siblings. You could be known of this new information that could be very useful to you in some way, or you could be buying a new vehicle, you could be selling off the old vehicle. Short distance travel become a topic somehow. The second eclipse of 2026 happens around 2nd or 3rd of March 2026. This is a full moon. This is a total lunar eclipse that happens in 4 and 10 axis. So changes regarding your career, changes regarding your home, family life. You could be acquiring new property, you could be selling the old one, or you could be moving into a new home. You could be starting a new chapter when it comes to your career. You could be getting into a new job, maybe you getting a promotion. There are major changes in both family life, home life, and in terms of your career, or at least one of them. Since this is total lunar eclipse, it is pretty potent. The next eclipse is around August 12th or 13th. This is new moon in Leo, which is your ninth house. This is a total solar eclipse, so this is pretty potent. So you could be starting a new chapter when it comes to your faith, your religion, your academics, or anything regarding your legal stuff, or anything regarding your training stuff, the skills you want to improve your career in the future. The next eclipse is at the end of August, around 27th or 28th. This is a full moon in 4th house and 10th house axis, but this is partial lunar eclipse, so it is not as potent as the total eclipse. Again, you're visiting the topics of your career, changes in your career, or your home or home life, or your property, or your relationship with your family. Mercury goes retrograde in water signs in 2026. Mercury enters Pisces in the second week of Feb and it stays there for 67 days. Mercury enters Cancer in the beginning of June and it stays there for 69 days. Mercury enters Scorpio around the beginning of October and it stays there for 67 days. Mercury retrograde in Pisces happens at the end of Feb until the end of third week of March for 22 days. Pisces is your fourth house, so there could be misinformation, miscommunication, or reevaluating or redoing informative stuff regarding your home, your property, or your family. Or you could simply be rearranging stuff or redecorating stuff in your home, or you could be organizing stuff in your home. Now, Mercury goes retrograde at the end of June and it stays retrograde until the end of third week of July for 24 days in the sign of Cancer, which is your eighth house. So, there could be delays or miscommunications or redoing and reevaluating stuff regarding information regarding your money, your investments, anything to do with your financials, or anything to do with your fertility situation, your taxes. Now, Mercury goes retrograde last week of October and it stays retrograde until the middle of November in the house of Scorpio for 20 days. Scorpio is your 12th house. You're going through misinformation or delays regarding abroad travel, misinformation, miscommunication, delays, redoing, reevaluating stuff regarding spirituality, mental health, and abroad travel. Now, Venus is gonna stay in Libra and Scorpio for a lot more time in 2026. Venus is gonna stay in Libra for 75 days and Venus is gonna stay in Scorpio for 79 days, including next year. Venus enters Libra, which is your 11th house, in the second week of August and it stays there until the mid of September. Venus enters Libra again then in the last week of October and it stays there until the first week of December in Libra. So, Venus in your 11th house is great for friendship. You're having an easier time with your friends, you are socializing more, you're attending more events, making friends is easy for you, you're having good experiences regarding social media around this time. Venus enters Scorpio in second week of September. It stays there until the end of third week of October. Venus enters Scorpio again in the second week of December, and it stays there until the end of first week of Jan 2027. Venus in your 12th house can make you spend your money a lot more. Venus in your 12th house, you could be meeting up with your partner secretly. You could be traveling abroad with your partner while Venus is in 12th. You're navigating themes of spirituality and mental health. You're having a lot more pleasant time when you're alone by yourself while Venus is in the 12th. Venus goes retrograde in Scorpio around second week of October and until the end of third week of October in Scorpio. There could be delays or re-evaluations regarding 12th house topics that I just mentioned. Venus also goes retrograde around last week of October until the mid November 2026 in the house of Libra. So there could be delays or re-evaluating or redoing stuff regarding the house of friends and social media. There are no Mars retrogrades in 2026. Mars kind of goes back and forth between the houses of Leo and Virgo for the next 2026 and 2027. It stays in Leo for 141 days. It's gonna stay in Virgo for 150 days for both years. Mars enters a Leo at the end of September and it stays there almost until the end of November. Leo is your ninth house. Mars here gives you way more focus, way more energy on your academics, or there could be fights regarding any legal stuff. You could be traveling quickly or suddenly. You could have fights when you travel or in flights. Mars enters Virgo at the in the last week of November and it stays there until the end of third week of Feb 2027. Virgo is your 10th house. While Mars is here, you could be fighting, you could have disagreements or arguments with your boss or in the career area. You could have a lot more focus and a lot more energy to deal with your career stuff while Mars is in Virgo. That's it for your 2026 Sagittarius. Hope it helped. Take care.